If you've ever tried to schedule a follow-up with someone to discuss a proposal, to take next action, or to get their reaction to something, you know it can sometimes be difficult pinning people down. And you also know that having an actual time scheduled can make a huge difference. That meeting is much more likely to happen if it's scheduled. So, how do you do that? Today, 6 words that make it way easier to schedule follow-ups. Welcome to Everyday, a New Thought. I'm Thor Chalgren. I'm continuing my series on the book by Phil M. Jones called Exactly What to Say, The Magic Words for Influence and Impact. Last week, I talked about how to use the phrase, just imagine. That's in episode 119, and I'll link that below. Today, I talk about a phrase that can be hugely valuable when it comes to scheduling meetings. And it's this: when would be a good time? As Jones says, when you use this phrase, what you're doing is you're prompting the other person to subconsciously assume that there is a good time and that there's not another option. So you're already moving to the assumption that, yes, we're going to talk about this. Now the only question is, we're going to find out when it fits in our respective schedules. You've decided to meet. You're just now deciding when. There's no question about whether you should follow up or whether there should be a meeting. It will. And you've just implicitly said that. Now it's just scheduling. So here are a couple examples of how that might be used. You might say, when would be a good time to set up a meeting? When would be a good time to speak next? When would be a good time to meet for a follow-up? Or when would be a good time to get started? In this chapter, Jones makes the point that you want to be sure to get that precise next point of contact so that you keep control of the conversation in your hands. So you are directing this conversation to the result that you're looking for, which is to move it to the next step. And then once you do meet, there's one follow-up phrase that you should be thinking about using. Instead of asking them, like, what did you think? Ask them, so what do you like about it? You're basically saying, let's talk about what you liked. Now, there may be more sophisticated sales methods and language that you can use here, but saying, what do you like about it, is a good general way to begin the conversation. We actually use something like this in Toastmasters when we have a guest. At the end of the meeting, we'll ask them, tell us one thing that you liked about the meeting. So you notice what that does is it's presuming that they liked something, and we're directing them to have a positive opinion and share one thing. It also makes it easier for that person, which a lot of times puts people at ease because now they don't feel like they have to come up with something. You're saying, here's what I'd like. So when you say, so what do you like about it? You're directing the conversation to talk about the positive attributes of this. So my takeaway is always assume there will be a follow-up meeting or a conversation, and know that you want to schedule it. And you do so by saying, when would be a good time? That's the show for today. If you like this episode, please hit like if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, please subscribe or follow the show on your favorite podcast app. Until tomorrow, thanks for watching.